Hello, hello. Welcome or welcome back. You certainly read the title of the video and clicked on it. Thank you. So you know that today we are covering 3 things that are extremely easy that you can do to get yourself set up to cook like a pro. Before we dive in, I'll introduce myself and tell you what makes me qualified to talk about this. I am Erica. In 2018, I made a major career shift, went to culinary school, and have been working in some capacity in food ever since as a personal chef, in catering, and of course doing some food stuff here on the internet with you. Today I really want to cover this topic because there are a few things that I learned in culinary school that I've been implementing in my day-to-day cooking life that I really don't see home cooks doing in a consistent way. They are so easy, very accessible, and they are going to improve your day-to-day life in the kitchen immensely. So let's go. Here before, then you have certainly seen me do this. We are starting with the thing that I think is most important. I will sing the gospels of this forever and ever. It is stabilizing our cutting board. The basic premise here is that cutting on a board that slides around or is wobbly in any way, shape, or form is actually quite dangerous. It's also going to make your cooking less efficient, so a double whammy, things that we don't want. We're gonna take the extra 2 seconds to stabilize our board every time we cook, or at least I am. And for me, that means that I'm pulling out a piece of drawer liner that I got from the Container Store, somewhere like that. It might have been Amazon. You can find it in a number of places. I've heard folks say that they have gotten theirs from the dollar store. It is a great reusable option and it is quite grippy, and all that we do is just drop that underneath our cutting board and all of a sudden it's stable, it's ready to go, and it's something that we should be doing every single time we cook. Now, I know that not everyone has this little grippy stuff and I want you to start doing this like ASAP. So if you don't, you can absolutely use one of 2 other methods. The first method is to grab a piece of damp paper towel, drop that under your board, and then you've got, again, a nice stable cutting surface, which is what we want. The third option is, again, a sustainable / reusable option, which is to use a damp kitchen rag. I've got a really ratty one here that I sometimes use for this purpose, but really any rag will do. Just make sure it's lightly damp, squeeze it out, and pop it under that board, and we're good to go to cut on a non-wobbly surface. All right, we've got the cutting board step out of the way. Next, I want to talk to you about a salt cellar. Putting your salt in a salt cellar is basically a fancy way of saying that you've put it in a lidded, open situation that you can access easily. You can open it up and use your fingers to pinch from it. Now, the reason that I am passionate about a salt cellar and something that we learned about in culinary school is that giving yourself access to salt with your fingers is the best way to learn how to use salt in an effective way while eyeballing it. I'll actually get a prop for you. Okay, this is just a fancy container for rock salt. And I also see them in people's kitchens as their like main cooking salt on the regular. And while I'm very in favor of you using whatever you have in your home, I will say that a salt cellar is really worth the investment. Number one, you're not having to turn that salt grinder over and over again to get an adequate amount. It also allows you to, if you are measuring your salt, get a measuring spoon in there. And if you're eyeballing it, as I typically do, the salt cellar is the thing that allows you to get your hands on the salt, make you feel comfortable with the amount of salt that you're picking up, and eventually get you to the point where you have a basic idea that 2 4-finger pinches of salt equals about a teaspoon of salt if your recipe is calling for a teaspoon, for example. And I know we all want to be more confident in the kitchen, so this is going to be something that gets you there. It is also going to speed your cooking up because you are not going to be crunching. Okay, the final of the 3 steps that I want you to be taking every time you cook is to pull yourself out a scrap bowl. I do this every single time that I cook, and the reason that I do it is because it keeps me from bending over or walking over to the trash every 3 minutes when I need to get something off of my cutting board and into the trash. It just saves so much time. It makes you so much more efficient. It's something that I was taught in culinary school literally on day 1, and every professional kitchen I've ever been in, anyone who cooks professionally in any capacity that I know of does this. It's so easy. I'm sure you have a medium to large size bowl in your cabinets, and if you do, set it out for this purpose and thank me later. Okay, I really want to hammer the idea that I do this specific setup every single time that I cook home. So what we're gonna do now is cook or make one of my very favorite lunches, which is a simple tuna salad on a good old English muffin. Let's make some tuna salad. Very worth the 30 seconds it took me to get my station all set up, I would say. So to quickly review, we went over how I stabilize my cutting board, use a salt cellar, and use a scrap bowl every single time that I get my knife out to cook, including when I make a very basic tuna salad. And yeah, I think we've covered it. Thank you so much for being here. As always, if you would like to follow along, see what I'm up to, you can tap that subscribe and like button and I will be forever grateful. All right, that's it for me. Have a lovely, well-fed week ahead.